Hey YouTube, it's James here from the Wyvern Watch, just with another deck profile, one of my favourites. It's Kozmo this time. I've taken this to locals probably last year now. Had a decent amount of success with it, but in order to compete in the current meta, it's taken the form of Floodgate Central, so quite a trap-heavy deck in this particular build. Over the years, I've had various different builds, but it's good fun to play this one, but not really good fun if you're the opponent, because you're going to have to think about it and, you know, get your way around various different restrictions on how you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically. So, yeah, not the best for the opponent. I know there's a couple of you cringing already at the sight of what's already on the table there in terms of the extra deck. I'll show you the profile anyway, see what you think. Feel free to... I won't even be disgusted if you dislike the video on this one, but please do leave a like rather than a dislike. You know, feel free to comment on any of my card choices. So the first card, and basically the reason why I actually built this in the first place is because what a card that is. That is Kozmo Found Girl, the original print in ultra rare, of course. You probably all recognise these cards, but for those that don't, during either player's turn, I can banish this card, special summon one level 4 or higher Kozmo monster from my hand, which is the usual effect for what is known as the pilots, or what are known as the pilots. And I can only use the effect of Kozmo Found Girl once per turn, of course, but when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can pay 500 life points and add one Kozmo card from deck to hand. So, which comes up quite a lot. There is an OTK that sort of utilises this card. Unfortunately, at the moment in the current meta, there's too many things to get in way of that OTK, but it does come off sometimes. But still, great, fantastic looking card. And like I say, the reason why I built it in the first place. So two Farm Girl. And then the next little fella, R2D2 himself. We've got 3 Kozmo Tin Can. So yeah, during either player's turn, I can banish. You know, it's what we call as a pilot. So you can obviously tag out basically for a some of the bigger Kozmo monsters known as the ships. But its main effect is once per turn during the end phase, I can pay. During the end phase, I can pay 500 life points. Reveal three Kozmo cards with different names from your deck. Opponent picks one for you to add to your hand, and the others go to the graveyard. So, it does say cards, so you can obviously pick up the trap cards if you really want, or Kozmo Town if you need it. But primarily, you're looking for ships to make sure they're in your hand, so you can tag out on your next turn and cause some interruptions. So that's Kozmo Tin Can. The next are all one-ofs, so we'll look at those as well. So we've got Kozmo Strawman. We've got Kozmo Wicked Witch. We've got Kozmo Good Witch and Kozmo Dark Lady. Now, I like playing all of these. A lot of Kozmo cards, Kozmo decks won't run potentially Good Witch. Maybe even not Wicked Witch. Most run sort of Strawman. Most, definitely all will play the Dark Lady. But Strawman, these are all still pilots, so you can always tag out for the bigger ships. Except you could tag in, because it's these are all level 5 or higher. You can tag into, so you could actually tag into Dark Lady and then tag again into one of the ships. But the Kozmo Strawman is once per turn. I can pay 500 life points, target one of your banished Kozmo monsters, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also destroyed during the end phase. This provides some protection to itself by paying 1,000 life points. It can't be destroyed for the turn. This one is basically books one of books a Facebook monster, and this one is a monster negate. So all got their own uses, but obviously because when the ships are destroyed as well, they also have the effect where they can special summon downwards in levels, so you can easily get these onto the field whenever you need them. So speaking of the ships, we are now onto them. So first of which is Kozmo Slip Rider, the original rare one. Don't like the gold secret rare ones which are available, but I'll stick with the original rare print. One of my favourites, level 5, of course. So if this card is normal or special summoned, I can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. So it's an easy way of getting rid of some pesky fit cards. And if it is destroyed by battle or card effects and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard and special summon one level 4 or lower Kozmo monster from your deck, which is what I was saying before about getting access to those the pilots pretty easily. We've also got 2 Forerunner. Because we're special summoning from the deck as a lower level, Forerunner is great because we can go from Dark Destroyer to Forerunner to Slip Rider when we're going down in levels as they get destroyed. So cannot be discarded. Oh yeah, sorry. And these the bigger ships now, starting from Forerunner upwards, can't be just targeted by opponent card effects, which a lot of people don't realise. So you know you perhaps got to let them know when they fit on the first time they try something, but obviously you can't actually target these guys. During your standby phase, gain 1,000 life points, which is great, and then it's got the usual effect of tagging down to a level 6 or lower in this case. We like Forerunner, but the biggest and probably the best in the deck is, of course, Kozmo Dark Destroyer. This came out in the set after Clash of Rebellion, and its name completely is gone from me. But this is the one. So if you normal or special summon it, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it, which of course can be itself as well. Cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects, which we know about. And if the card is destroyed, you can do the usual tag thing from level 7 or lower on this one. But it's obviously a big attack power at 3,000. We can pop a card on the field. Like I say, it can pop itself if you want to get access to, say, a Forerunner or a Slip Rider, you know, either way. Last of the monsters is one Kozmo Dark Eclipser. So this is the only one that actually doesn't sort of float, if you like. It does add to your hand, this one, but the main reason why we're running this is during either player's turn when a trap card is activated, I can banish one Kozmo monster from the graveyard and negate the activation. So a little trap negation going on there as well. Onto the spells, we've got 3 Kozmo Town. One of the best field spells in the game, in my opinion. So mainly 3 effects. So you can once per turn I can target one of the banished Kozmo monsters, return it to the hand, and if I do, lose life points equal to its original level times 100. So you can bring back one of your banished monsters. Once per turn you can reveal any number of Kozmo monsters in your hand and shuffle them into the deck, then draw cards equal to the number of cards you shuffled into the deck, which is a mulligan effect. And then if this card in the field zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can add one Kozmo card from deck to hand. Amazing card, and obviously we love running that at 3. The next 3 is Emergency Teleport, of course, because the pilots are all psychics. Primarily we're going to be using this for Farm Girl, but there are scenarios where you might want your Tin Can or indeed the Straw Man, but everyone knows what Emergency Teleport does. We do have an extra deck, but we don't use it. So we are, of course, running Pots of Extravagance. We know what that does, but of course we're going to get rid of 6 cards out of our extra deck to draw 2. So it's, you know, it's an easy one in this particular build, at least anyway, because like I say, we're not utilising the extra deck particularly very much. 2 one-offs, so we've got 1 Call by the Grave, which we know what that does, and 1 Limited Removal, because it's great fun when you are able to use it. It's a quick play spell. Double the attack of all face-up machine monsters, which of course the ships are, until the end phase. During the end phase, destroy the monsters, but really using that as your last play, and fingers crossed you've won the game before the end phase arrives. On to traps then. So you've got Cosmojo, which is a great trap for the deck. So target 1 Kozmo monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, banish 1 card your opponent controls or in their graveyard. You can only use 1 Cosmojo once per turn. And another great card for the archetype, and I can't see any reason why I wouldn't run 3 of them, but I'm sure there's you know, other builds out there that don't. So we're on to the floodgates, and the first one, of course, is the one that everyone's going to love. Skill drain. So the effects that are tagging out or tagging up or tagging down, if you like. So when the pilots are going from you know, attributing themselves to special from the hand, their effects activate in the graveyard and not in the field. So actually they skip the skill drain effects. Same goes for the when the ships are going down down levels. So you've just managed to destroy one of the ships, and that's gone to the graveyard. It'll activate in the graveyard in order to special summon from the hand from the deck. So skill drain is great because we're not completely affected by it, to be fair. We're also running 3 summon limits. What a nightmare this is once I get this out. Unless the opponent's got an immediate unless the opponent's got an immediate out for it, it's quite often a game changer. I can play underneath it because as long as you've got 1 ship in your hand and 1 pilot on board, that's 2 summons, so you can get a ship on board and hopefully start plugging away at the opponent's life points. Also, we are now running 3 Waking the Dragon as well. So I like this because it is a trap heavy deck. They're obviously, opponents are always looking at trying to get rid of the back row, and obviously if they're doing that against this card, so yeah, if the set cards is left the field because of an opponent's effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, you can special summon 1 monster from your deck or extra deck. So it can be used to bring out a Dark Destroyer, for instance, but primarily there's some targets in the extra deck that you know, will cause some extra damage as well. Drowning Mirror Force is one of the last 2 cards for the deck. Everyone knows what that does, but I just thought we'll throw those in there because if we do manage to get rid of the ships, sometimes I'm left with no monsters on the field, which makes Drowning Mirror Force quite useful. I'll skip through the extra deck. There are some options in here. So we've got number 61 Volcasaurus, which of course is the 2 level 5 monsters. Speaking of level 5 monsters, if I've got 2 Slip Riders available, I can obviously go into Nova and then Cyber Dragon Infinity. I've also got, space these out a little bit. Number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, and number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. They've all got their own uses, like I say, but these would have to be utilising a couple of Dark Destroyers, but it's very, very rare I actually go into those. So the targets for Waking the Dragon, you've already seen this one in the thumbnail, but the first one is this one. So if this card is special summon, destroy all other monsters or other monsters you control, but neither player can summon monsters, full stop. So once this is on the field, your opponent will more than likely get stuck with it. And it's not a bad size monster in terms of its attack power either at 2350, but depending on the situation, it could just stop a game right there. We're all familiar with this one. This is the Ultimate Falcon, Raid Rats Ultimate Falcon. So these are at 3 elves, of course, just because of extravagance. Make sure I've got the options still there. But virtually indestructible, this monster. But with 3,500 attack points as well, it's obviously a good one to look at. And the last one, of course, is Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, mainly because I like the card and it's a good looking one. That is the end of the deck profile. Like I say, not everyone's going to enjoy that one, but it's good fun to play. But like I say, I wouldn't want to come up against it myself. So it is an interesting one. The premise of the Kozmo monsters themselves I've always loved, but this is the current form that I've got it in. Please do comment on it. Do subscribe as well, guys. I know I've only got a few videos out there and I'm very much a fledgling channel, but I just want to see where this might go and develop it slowly but surely. I'm an older player. I have older decks. Check out my other ones. They're all profile so far. You never know, things might progress. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you on the next profile. Cheers.